End of the semester, public speaking, and the first thing I want to do, Professor Bean, is orally cite my resources. The first resource that I want to cite is by the author Robert Perkinson, and the book is The Chemical Dependence Treatment Planner. It was published by John Wiley and Sons in 1998. My second source that I would like to cite is Geraldine Miller, author of Learning the Language of Addiction and Counseling. It's also published by Wiley and Sons in 2021. And third, again, it's Robert Perkinson, and it's the Addiction Treatment Planner, published again by Wiley and Sons in 2021. So with that being said, I want to talk to you guys about the process of trying to help yourself or someone that you care about get into treatment for substance use disorder. It's no brainer that we in this community and communities all across this country and world are facing an epidemic. I know personally I have experienced tons and tons of friends who have lost their life as a direct result of substance use disorder. A lot of these people, they didn't know about treatment, or they went to treatment and they were resistant and they weren't held accountable while they were in treatment or when they first left treatment. So what I want to talk to you guys today about is, how do I get someone into treatment and what is the best treatment options for them? Now, in our area, the main epidemic circles around heroin and fentanyl. I have a whole theory on why heroin and fentanyl have thrived the way they have in our communities. A little brief history, take you back to the late 90s, early 2000s when the pill epidemic took place, and they shut down all of the doctors that were prescribing these extremely addictive medications. And once they took them away, well, guess what? You no longer had the supply, but you still had the demand. And then the next thing you know, we hear about the heroin epidemic, and boom, here we are, burying people way before we should. So with that being said, there's many ways and many resources for people to reach out and get help with substance use disorder. In Southern Ohio alone, where I personally work, in the town that I work in, there are 7 treatment centers, and they run along the lines of how does all this begin? Well, if someone's physically dependent on a substance, the first thing they need is detox or go to a withdrawal unit. Once they go from a withdrawal unit, then we look at what is the best moving forward treatment plan for this individual. Some people choose what is known as medically assisted treatment, which is maintenance, where people are prescribed certain opioid agonists that will block the brain receptors to help them with withdrawals and cravings. Now, that being said, I'm okay as far as whenever I come up with a treatment plan for someone to take these maintenance drugs early on to help with withdrawals to try to keep them stabilized. Do I believe long term that is a good idea? I'm more of an abstinence-based type of person. I can't say that it's not the right thing for some people, because if it's for harm reduction and it's keeping people from dying, and they can be employed, they get a parent to their child, and they're contributing back to society, who am I to stand up on a soapbox and say that that is not the right treatment for them? I just myself personally, and the people that I work with, believe that abstinence-based programs following a 12-step self-help group recovery program is the best option for a lot of drug addicts and alcoholics. So once we get them into the residential, back to where I was talking about, once we get them into a residential program, then we look at what kind of treatment plan do we devise and individualize for this person. Some people may have mental health disorders that cause them to be dual diagnosed. So not only do they need to see someone for their substance use disorder, but they also need to see a mental health professional to address their mental health needs. We also have people that are strictly just have a substance use disorder. And now that substance use disorder is recognized as a disease, there's a diagnosis, they can be provided a medical card through the state they live in that will help them pay for the services that they are provided. A lot of people in residential care, while they're in residential care, they get individual counseling sessions with a professional counselor. They also do group therapy sessions with other clients where they can kind of relate experience and kind of say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with, this is how I'm feeling, and somebody can speak up in the group and say, hey, I did too, this is what I'm facing, this is how I overcame it. That's kind of how group therapy kind of flows and works. Once someone has completed a residential program, then we look at a sober living, where there's still some accountability but less restrictions that allow these individuals to get employed, start to pay on any type of fines, address their legal issues, and continue to integrate back into society while they still have accountability. During this time, they are urine screened to prove that they are remaining abstinent and also to hold them accountable. I've had a lot of clients tell me, I thought about using this weekend, but I have came so far in my recovery, and I knew when I came back from pass that you'd be standing there with one of these to hold me accountable, and that's why I didn't use. And sometimes that's what it takes. Some days you might not be having a great day, and the only thing that holds you in place for making a bad decision is the accountability, self-accountability and accountability to others, you allowing them to hold you accountable. So there's many resources. If you or a loved one are struggling with substance use disorder, pick up your phone. Everybody has a phone, a smartphone. Google. Ask what treatment centers are available. How can I get somebody help? And if you are not the person who is actually afflicted with a substance use disorder, you can also get some help, because I know what it does to family members. When you're trying to save this person from killing themselves and causing all these negative consequences in their life and yours, there's also help for that. And if any of you guys are interested in that, reach out to a local treatment center. Walk in, ask them what resources are there for family members. We have Al-Anon. We have family support groups. There's all kinds of different avenues for the families themselves. And the families need to heal also. So anyways, really, really appreciated this semester. I hope I was able to inform you on the proper way to get help if you're suffering from substance use disorder, and have a good summer.